Live from Pheno Field here in Milford, My FM 101.3 is happy to bring you coverage of Milford Legion baseball. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tim Coet on the call. It is a clean bill of health once again for Milford Post 59. No injuries on our injury report, brought to you by Milford Regional Medical Center, earning an A grade in patient safety from the Leapfrog Group. We will now move on to our starting lineups, but we will bring those to you as this top of the first inning progresses. We'll get to all of the Maine South starting lineup information as the inning goes along, and in between innings, we will get to the top half and bottom half. In between the top half and the bottom half of the first inning, we will get you all of Milford's information. So quickly now, we will bring you the starting lineup for Maine South Post 341. Leading it off is their center fielder, Joseph Maroney, with the catcher, Alex Scavone, batting second. Batting third and playing third is Dan Sheeran, with the shortstop, Ryan Prosser, in the cleanup spot. Michael Waterman plays left field and bats fifth, with Brett Pullman, the designated hitter, batting sixth. Nathan Novia is the first baseman, batting seventh, with Tim Walsh, the second baseman, batting eighth. And in the ninth spot is the right fielder, Robert Early. So that is your Maine South starting lineup. Again, we'll get to the Milford lineup in between innings, and we now will get this game started as Jack Tempesta is on the mound, making his season debut for Post 59. He fires in a first pitch strike, and baseball is underway here at Pheno Field. Unsettled weather conditions, but we begin baseball here tonight on schedule, as now a foul ball is sliced out of play off to the right, and the count goes to 0-2 on Joseph Maroney. He'll be followed by Alex Scavone and Dan Sheeran in the inning, all against the right-hander Jack Tempesta in his second season in a Milford Post 59 uniform, coming off of a dominant high school season with Nipmuc Regional High School. The righty back into his windup. Here is the 0-2 pitch, and it's sliced off the end of the bat, and that is going to drop down into shallow right field for an opposite field single. A nice piece of two-strike hitting by Maroney, just stuck the bat out and poked it into shallow right field for a base hit. Starting to see some umbrellas pop up around the bleachers here at Pheno Field, with some rumbles of thunder off in the distance. We do expect thunderstorms to come into the area. It's really just a question of when they will arrive. And so trying to at least get the game started here. We've heard of some postponements around the zone as the weather has traveled in from western Massachusetts, and certainly right on the doorstep here of Milford as this game gets underway. A called strike now into Alex Scavone brings the count to 0-2. Runner at first base with nobody out, just underway here in the top of the first inning. And the 0-2 pitch is a breaking ball that stays high. And now a 1-ball, 2-strike count as Tempesta stares into his high school and now Legion battery mate, Jacob Beater. Here is the pitch, and it's a fastball swung on and missed for strike three. Good velocity on the pitch for Tempesta. First strikeout of the game, the first out in the top of the first inning. And that runner remains at first base now ahead of Dan Sheeran, the third baseman, who will dig in on the left side. The runner taking off for second base now. The throw down is not going to be in time. Tailed a little bit to the shortstop side of the bag, with Matt Shaver coming over to cover. The pitch was a ball, and a stolen base for Maroney brings him down into scoring position, as we can start to feel the sprinkles of rain now travel inside the press box windows. Just light precipitation for the moment. And a 2-ball, no-strike count now on Sheeran. Tempesta with the pitch and sent down the left field line. That is foul. Tyler Almeida will give it a look, but it is out of play. Defensively for Post 59 tonight, it is Jacob Beater behind the plate, Aiden Wild at third, Matt Shaver at short, Chris Brunt at second, and Alex Reynolds at first. Left to right in the outfield, Tyler Almeida, Sean Ribello, and Nick Marcolini. Now the 2-1 pitch, a fastball down in the dirt. So already now seeing the third catcher utilized for Post 59 this season, though not unexpected. We got the heads up from Coach DeVito over the weekend that he was going to continue to match pitchers up with their high school counterparts whenever it was a possibility. So Beater behind the plate tonight for Jack Tempesta, the two representatives from Nipmuc High School on the team. After a foul ball, the count is now full to Sheeran, with Ryan Prosser on deck. Tempesta back to the set. A long look down to second base, and now the 3-2 pitch is up and in for ball 4. Taking a look at those high school numbers for Jack Tempesta on the pitcher's mound, spectacular. In a Nipmuc uniform, an 8-0 record and a .92 ERA, allowed just 7 earned runs throughout the entire high school season. Struck out 57 batters through only 21 walks, and also had a save. So Tempesta really shining during the high school campaign, looking to bring that same level of consistency to the mound here at Pheno this summer. He's able to jump ahead of Ryan Prosser by a count of 0-2. Runners at first and second with 1 down, so Maine South threatening as the pitch will dart down into the dirt. A nice block for Jacob Beater. Still a large group of fans risking getting caught out in the storms to check out this game tonight at Pheno Field, as the pitch now runs inside on Prosser. He's able to get the hands out of the way, but the count now evens at 2, so we've seen this a few times so far here in this first inning. Tempesta able to get ahead, but having trouble putting these Maine South batters away. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's golfed over towards shortstop. Waiting for it is Shaver. He goes to second to cut down the middleman, and that is all Milford will get. Really no chance to turn a double play there. You wonder if maybe the best play for Shaver would have been to send the throw to Aiden Wild at third base to cut down the lead runner. Instead opted to go to second. They do get Sheeran in the exchange. But Prosser safe at first base on the fielder's choice, and Maroney able to advance down to third. So that sets up runners at the corners with 2 down for the left fielder Michael Waterman. The right-handed batter watches the first pitch miss, and now a throw yanked towards the shortstop side of the second base bag as Milford decides to throw through, and they pay the price as Maroney's able to come in to score. So a steal for Prosser, and Maine South able to get the bonus as the runner comes in to give post 341 an early 1-0 lead. And now a 2-ball no-strike count on Waterman. And now a floater over towards second base. Playing it on a hop is Chris Brunt. He ends up having to hustle the throw to first base, but he does get it there in time for the out that does retire the side. But Jacob Beater taking the chance, throwing through on the steal attempt with the runner at third base, and as a result, Maine South able to score the first run of the game. They take a 1-0 lead, and we will keep it right here as we will now officially conclude all of our pregame information for you as we bring you the other half of our starting lineup information. That is, of course, the Milford Post 59 starting lineup tonight. Leading it off is the center fielder Sean Rebello. The shortstop Matt Shaver bats second, with Aiden Wild, the third baseman, batting third. Sam Parker is your designated hitter tonight, batting fourth, with Alex Reynolds getting his first start at first base this season. He bats fifth. Tyler Almeida is in the outfield tonight, playing left and batting sixth, with Jacob Beater catching and batting seventh. Nick Marcolini is the right fielder, batting eighth, and batting ninth, playing second base, is Chris Brunt. And so your pitching matchup in this game, you just heard Jack Tempesta pitch the top half of the first inning, allowing a run on a hit, also walked a batter in the inning. And on the mound for Maine South will be Lance Benoit. Right-hander starting to make his warm-up tosses right now as we start to experience some wind picking up here. So again, if you're just joining us for the broadcast here tonight, we welcome you in once again to our coverage of Milford Legion baseball. After a trio of games late last week, we start to settle in for the long haul of this 2018 season. Welcome back to Pheno Field as we continue our coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on My FM 101.3. I am Tim Coet, and I'm happy to report that just as quickly as the tarps came on the field, they have now been removed from the field. So a little bit of an unusual start to this game tonight, an abbreviated pregame show after some late information was brought up to the press box before we could jump on air, but happy to be with you now and happy to get baseball up and running once again here at Pheno Field. Not many people moving from their positions in the crowd, as again, outside of a few light sprinkles, we haven't had too much weather approach this area quite yet. We'll see how long that holds true. But for right now, baseball will resume. Sean Rebello now ready on the right side. And the first pitch at the bottom of the first inning from Lance Benoit is up and in for ball one. Not many players around Zone 4 have gotten off to a better start to this 2018 season than Sean Rebello. The 1-0 pitch is sent foul off to the right and out of play so far through 3 games for Rebello. The center fielder currently batting .833. 8 hits in his first 11 at-bats. That includes a double and also an inside-the-park home run. He's driven in 7 runs. You can make it 8 runs on the season, and you can make it another hit on the year as he sends one up over the reach of the second baseman out into right center, once again using the opposite field to his advantage. And another hit for Rebello. And that will now send up Matt Shaver, the second straight game we've seen Shaver in the number 2 spot. Right-hand batter sets up towards the outside of the batter's box, now shows bunt and pokes it foul. Nothing in 1 the count on the Milford High School product. Matt Shaver, who has also gotten his first year in a post-59 uniform off to a good start, batting an even .500. 4 hits so far on the season. That includes a double. He's driven in 3 runs. He's also walked 5 times. And meanwhile, on the bases is a primetime stolen base candidate. Already 6 swipes on the year for Sean Rebello through 3 games. He has a lead off of first base. A 1-1 count on Shaver. The runner goes. The pitch is inside. Here comes the throw down to second base. Not in time. Rebello steals it comfortably, so there is stolen base number 7. And a 2-1 count now on Shaver. Here comes the next pitch. It's sent foul to the backstop. 2-2 now on the batter. And Rebello now will backpedal out to a lead at second base. And the pitch sent foul over the fans down the right field line and off towards the parking lot. And it stays a 2-2 count.
Take that one off right over this. I got it.
We are not likely to see many of the games being played further towards Central and Western Mass played to completion tonight, as a matter of fact. Leominster at East Side, we've gotten word, has already been postponed. Cherry Valley visiting Shrewsbury. That game got an inning and a half in the books before it was suspended. As Shaver fights one off out to second base. It's going to be a tricky play. The pitcher ranges out to try to make the play. Can't get the throw to first base in time. That ball just floated out towards the right side of the infield. Second baseman Tim Walsh tried to range in to make the play. It ended up being the pitcher who got to it first. But no chance to get a throw to first base in time to get Shaver, so he beats out the infield single. And meanwhile, Sean Rebello is able to move on to third base. So that sets up runners at the corners now for Aiden Wild. And Wild takes a pitch inside, and as a matter of fact, it clips the uniform of Aiden Wild, so he will head down to first base. The hit by pitch. That one really not getting much of Wild, but might have grazed the uniform on the way by, so now they're all loaded up for Sam Parker. Milford once again with an opportunity to produce first inning runs, something they've done in each of their first 3 contests of the year. Parker takes a called strike 1 from Benoit. Sam Parker with the batting average at .333 through the first 3 games of the season. takes a pitch that misses just off the outside part of the plate. That will even the count at 1. A few stray raindrops now once again starting to fall. The real key for keeping play going will be whether or not lightning makes an appearance. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that hits the outside part of the plate for strike 2. Coach DeVito barking out instructions to his runners from the third base coach's box. Now the 1-2 pitch, and Parker sends it again slowly on the ground towards second base. The one play is to first, and Walsh able to get the throw there in time, but in from third base to score comes Sean Rebello, and that will quickly even up the score at 1. Parker with an RBI on the 4-3 ground out.
Number 2, first baseman Alex Reynolds.
And now 2 in scoring position with 1 out for Alex Reynolds, who we've seen a couple of times so far behind the plate this season. An appearance at designated hitter, and now will show his 3rd position of the season, getting the start at first base tonight. Swings at the first pitch and sends it out to right field towards the line and beyond the reach of the right fielder. That's going to roll off towards the corner, and 2 runs will come in to score as Shaver and Wild both cross the plate. Alex Reynolds stops at second base, a 2-run double as Reynolds' hot hitting continues, and Milford now able to jump on top by a score of 3-1. Already the 3rd Milford hit of the inning. And for Alex Reynolds, he just continues to be completely locked in the early part of this season. Reynolds came into the game today with a slugging percentage of 1,125, hitting a perfect 1,000 with runners in scoring position, which will stay perfect after he drove in those 2 runs. Absolutely outstanding in the middle of this lineup. And a 2-ball, no strike count now on Tyler Almeida. Almeida also showing off positional versatility as he gets the start in the outfield tonight, out and left. A 3-ball, no strike count now on Almeida. A tough start to this game for Benoit. Here's his next pitch, not close, down in the dirt for ball 4. As the sprinkles start to intensify just a little bit here at the field.
Now batting number 3, Jacob Beater.
It's going to be an adventurous night, no doubt, with the weather conditions here at Pheno Field. Hoping to just be able to continue to play through it, as Jacob Beater takes a first pitch strike. Beater's had a chance to contribute offensively early on in this season. He has 4 hits in his first 9 at-bats, good for a .444 batting average. He also has 2 runs batted in. The next pitch from Benoit is a late swing and a miss. 1-2 now, the count. A 3-1 lead now for Milford after the RBI from Parker and the 2-run double for Alex Reynolds. And Beater can't catch up to the high fastball. He goes down swinging. That is the 2nd out of the inning.
Now batting number 14, the right fielder.
And now to the plate comes Nick Marcolini, making his 2nd straight start. Had a nice game on Saturday against Sturbridge with a couple of hits. And virtually everyone on this roster off to a good start this season. The offensive numbers for this team as a whole are very eye-catching through 3 games. Get to some more of those numbers as the broadcast goes along. It's an 0-ball, 1-strike count on Marcolini. Now takes a pitch a little bit low, and that evens the count. Reynolds remains the lead runner at second base with Almeida at first. And Benoit to the set. The pitch. And showing bunt is Marcolini. Sends it out towards the pitcher's mound. Scooped up by Benoit. Marcolini hustling down the line, but the throw is going to beat him by a couple of steps for the out that ends the inning. So a strikeout and then a ground out on the bunt attempt to bring an end to the inning, but not before Milford scores 3 times. They take a 3-1 lead on Maine South. On to the second inning when we come back next here on My FM 101.3. Jack Tempesta back on the mound for the top half of the second inning. Fires in ball 1, missing outside to Brett Pullman. Pullman followed by Nathan Novia and Tim Walsh here in this top of the second inning. Swing and a miss will even the count. Mist continues to fall outside of the press box. A 2-ball, 1-strike count on the batter as the righty Tempesta fires into the plate. It's a ground ball hit to second base. Down to one knee goes Chris Brunt to scoop it up. He fires to first base. That throw tailed a little bit on Brunt, but Alex Reynolds able to handle it on the back end. 4-3 on the out. Pullman retired, and now Nathan Novia to the dish. Maine South has just played 1 game so far on the season. Everyone looking to fully get their Zone 4 schedules up and running after what has been a very tough start. Always tends to be that way, of course, with the high school playoffs mixed in, but with the late start to the MIAA tournament, making things complicated for a number of teams. As the pitch misses down in the dirt, kicks away from the catcher. Count goes to 1-1. That 1 game for Maine South came back on June 12th. And it was a mercy rule victory, a 13-3 win over North County on the road. Maine South had games scheduled on the 13th against Northbridge and on the 15th against Leominster, but both of those games forced into postponements due to high school playoff related reasons, but now back in action here today against Milford. The first of 2 regular season meetings between these 2 teams. Here's a 1-2 pitch now, and it's in for a called strike 3. To the outside corner. Tempesta freezes Nathan Novia. That's the second K for Tempesta. And it's 2 up and 2 down so far in the second inning. Now to the plate is the Maine South second baseman Tim Walsh, who takes a look at a called strike 1. Not, of course, to be confused with Milford Legion assistant coach Tim Walsh. Now the 0-1 pitch slapped on the ground to third, grabbed by Aiden Wild. He will throw to first base, and it is a very quick and easy 1-2-3. Top half of the second inning for Tempesta. On to the home half of the frame we go. It remains Milford 3 and Maine South 1 here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. Milford now sending batters 9-1-2 to the plate. They took a 3-1 lead in the bottom half of the first inning, and Jack Tempesta able to shut things down in the top half of the second. So now Chris Brunt gets it started for post 59, taking a look at ball 1 against Lance Benoit. Benoit, the leg kick and the pitch. And that'll be a strike on the outside part of the plate. Chris Brunt batting .250, but a .444 on base percentage. A couple of walks on the season. Brunt has also driven in 2 runs. Milford as a team coming into the game today and walked a total of 20 times through the first 3 games, so showing excellent patience All part of how they've been able to wear down opposing pitching and eventually post double digits on the scoreboard in each of these first 3 games. It was 13 runs in games 1 and 3 with 16 runs here at home against Northborough last Friday. Now Brunt sends a roller down the third base line, charged by the third baseman Sheeran, but his throw was off the mark, ended up pulling Novia off the bag, and Brunt is going to be safe. So tough ruling on that play, as Sheeran had to come streaking down the third base line to be able to field that ball, and with the speed of Brunt, he knew he had to release the throw quickly off balance and ended up pulling the first baseman off the bag, so it should go as an infield single. The lead runner on, and another at bat for Sean Rebello, who looks at strike 1. Sean singled, stole a base, and scored in the first inning, which has become a very routine pattern for Sean Rebello through these early games on the schedule. A little extra time taken on the pitcher's mound by Benoit, and now will fire in and misses badly. The ball bounces away from the catcher, but not far enough for Brunt to try and advance. One ball and one strike. And now the pitch, and that one is going to sail right to the backstop. It takes a quick bounce back to the catcher, Scavone, but he was not able to get a handle on it. And down to second base goes Chris Brunt. That ball sailed inside on Sean Rebello, ended up completely missing the catcher's glove, going directly to the backstop, but then took a hard bounce off the backstop and went directly right back to home plate around the feet of the Maine South catcher. But still, Brunt was able to advance on the wild pitch. And now here's the 2-1. And back to the outside corner for strike 2. So with 2 strikes, once again, you would expect Sean Rebello to be thinking opposite field. Reaches out, taps this one instead back to the pitcher's mound. And good quick move by Benoit. He was able to spring off the mound, field that ball, and throw accurately to first to get the speed of Rebello. So the out goes 1-3. Brunt continues on the bases, moving to third. Just 1 out in the inning, with Matt Shaver now at the plate. And Shaver takes a look at ball 1 down in the dirt. So the control not quite sharp for Benoit in this inning. And a long look in. And now finally the pitch, and it's low again for ball 2. Maine South still with a handful of players not at their service. Continuing on in the MIAA playoffs, a couple of players from St. Peter Marion High School unavailable to go, so short-handed today. As once again, Benoit misses low with the pitch, so he's gone now to 3-0. It appears that once again the rain has halted. Shaver taking all the way, takes a called strike. A lot of fans still not taking any chances, keeping the umbrellas extended. As now we'll see a 3-1 pitch. Shaver holds up, but it buzzes the outside part of the plate for a called strike 2. Shaver reached on an infield single and scored in the first. Now up there with a full count. The pitch takes a high chop And we'll kick off into foul territory, drifting towards the third base dugout. Three balls and two strikes on Shaver. The lone base runner is Chris Brunt. He is at third. And now again, the payoff pitch is taken for ball four. Milford works their second walk of the game. And this will bring a visit from the Maine South coaching staff as head coach Mike McCarthy heads out for a conference with Benoit. Coach DeVito, as per usual, will take the opportunity to converse with his next hitter, which in this situation is Aiden Wild. And while we have the opportunity, I want to remind everyone, if you need a recap of tonight's game, if you're wondering who the player of the game was or when Post 59 will play next, you can text the word Legion to the MyFM text line at 508-473-MyFM. That is 508-473-6936. You can find out all of those details. The MyFM text line is brought to you by the Dean College School of Continuing Studies. Resuming play now with Aiden Wild at the plate. He takes ball one outside, and the control continues to be very shaky for Lance Benoit. Wild was hit by a pitch his first time up and will now jump ahead in the count 2-0. So after the conversation with his head coach, Lance Benoit missing badly with the first two pitches to Wild. Tough part of the lineup coming up for the righty to deal with. And now Wild swinging away at the 2-0 pitch, sending it foul and out of play off to the right. Milford with a 2-run lead, an opportunity for more in the bottom of the second inning with 2 on and 1 down. The runner at first base, Shaver, takes off. The throw down to second base, kicks away out into center field. Here comes Chris Brunt to the plate. He will score. And so credit Matt Shaver with a steal. And then the poor throw from the catcher will result in an error. That brings Brunt home, and Milford now ups the lead to 4-0. 4-1, excuse me. Milford scoring 4 unanswered runs now after Maine South was able to come through with that run in the top half of the first. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count now on Wild. And the pitch from Benoit is low. And another full count. Milford with 4 hits so far. And the payoff to Aiden Wild is flared out to right field. That's trouble for Maine South, down for a base hit. They will wave the runner around from second base. Here comes the throw to the plate. It won't be in time as Matt Shaver comes around to score. An RBI single for Aiden Wild, and that ups the Milford lead now to 5-1. Wild ended up taking second base on the throw in towards the plate. So the run batted in for Wild now is already his 8th of the season. And now Parker at the dish. He takes one up and away for a ball. No activity loosening at the moment in the Maine South bullpen. As Benoit misses outside, now 2 balls and no strikes to count. And now the next pitch to the plate. That one right down the middle. Parker takes it. Sam Recorded an RBI in the first inning on a ground out to second base. So he now has 5 runs batted in total on the season. Swings away at the 2-1 pitch and sends it foul out of play off to the left.
Any comment, I'll eject.
Weather has improved here. At least for now. We expected a pretty decent cell to make its way through in the 7 o'clock hour, but perhaps breaking up or shifting directions late. But so far, we've only heard a couple of rumbles of thunder off in the distance. Some light sprinkles and nothing that has caused us to have too long of a delay. It was only with the threat of lightning that the teams momentarily paused action, but then quickly returned to the field. Now a 3-2 pitch upcoming to Sam Parker, and he takes it high for ball 4. Aiden Wild takes off for third base, and he is going to get in there safely.
Come on, guys, knock it off. Time is out.
A little bit of jousting around the third base bag after the play was over between Wild and Dan Sheeran.
Now at the plate, number 2, first baseman, Alex Reynolds.
Not sure if Sheeran felt like he got spiked as Wild slid into into third base. It was a good slide right into the bag. Sheeran trying to block the base with his foot. So a steal for Wild on the second walk of the inning to Sam Parker. Shaver walking earlier in the inning, now Parker getting the free pass. It's 3 walks so far in total for Lance Benoit. Now fires in strike 1 to Alex Reynolds. Reynolds drove in a pair with a double in the first inning. Every bit of contact has been allowed off the bat of Alex Reynolds so far this season, and the same holds true once again as he rips one back up the middle for a base hit. Trotting home is Wild as now the ball gets away from the center fielder, and that will allow the lead runner to advance on to third base. So Parker had initially held at second base, but the ball got behind Joseph Maroney. It was played fairly shallow out in center field, but then Maroney with the bobble. That allowed Parker to advance on to third. So Wild scores to make it 6-1 Milford. And Parker, on the error in the outfield, takes third base. So once again, Milford has runners at the corners. A 3rd run batted in on the day for Reynolds. It's 9 runs batted in for Reynolds, which will now put him into the team lead. A pitch in the dirt on the 1-0 count for Benoit. It gets away from the catcher, and Parker will cross the plate as Milford now will take a 7-1 lead. Maine South not doing themselves any favors right now. The error on Maroney in center field advanced the runner, and now the Wild pitch gives Parker the plate. And Reynolds to second base. And a 6-run Milford lead. So Milford had scored 42 total runs in their first 3 games, and now can make it 50 with 7 runs through 2 innings so far tonight. In the second inning, not over yet, still just 1 out in the bottom of the second. Milford playing in their 2nd home game of the year, part of back-to-back home games over the next 2 nights. A 3-1 pitch. It's not close to Tyler Almeida. He will walk for the 2nd straight plate appearance.
That brings up number 3, the catcher, Jacob Peter.
Again, we talked about it's a bit of a skeleton crew for Maine South tonight due to some players not being available to play. And so perhaps as a result, this is going to be a sink or swim performance for Lance Benoit. He's been in a lot of trouble here in the second inning. He's walked 3 batters now in the frame, also allowed 3 hits, now delivers one up over the head of Jacob Beater. And the catcher will make a slow stroll out towards the pitcher's mound to try to give Benoit some time. Jacob Beater, now the 8th member of the Milford lineup to come to the plate in the bottom half of the second inning. The home plate umpire now urging play to continue. Beater now climbs back into the batter's box. Runners lead off of first and second base as Beater rips it out into left field. That's down for a hit. They will wave Reynolds around third base. The throw in towards the plate is going to be offline and now tick off the catcher's glove. Onto third base now safely is Tyler Almeida as Milford continues to keep the pressure on the base paths. And that'll force Maine South into yet another error this inning. Reynolds coming around to score. The throw in from Michael Waterman in left was well offline to the plate. The catcher had to range into foul territory down the third base line to try to make a play, but it bounced off his glove. And so each runner able to advance. Credit Jacob Beater with an RBI single. He also advances a base on the error, so Almeida now the lead runner at third, with Beater at second, and it is now an 8-1 Milford lead as their 9th batter will step to the plate in the inning, Nick Marcolini. He'll chop one on the ground slowly to third base, scooped up by Dan Sheeran. He will fire to first base, getting the throw there just in time. Sheeran took a peek back at Almeida before he released that throw, forcing the runner to freeze. Unable to advance on the play. So Marcolini out on the 5-3 grounder. And now the batter that started this inning will make another appearance at the dish. Chris Brunt reached on an infield single, advanced to second on a wild pitch, eventually came around to score on an errant throw by the catcher. Series of errors in this inning. Couple by the catcher, 2 in the outfield, 4 errors altogether. And a no-ball, 2-strike count quickly on Brunt. Here's the next pitch, and sent hard on the ground towards shortstop and through the wickets of Ryan Prosser. Everyone will be safe. Tyler Almeida will come in to score. And error number 5 on the inning for Maine South will allow Milford to advance the lead to 9-1.
Now it's plate number 8, center fielder Sean Rebello.
Another unearned run. Beater moved up to third base. And another turn at the plate for Sean Rebello, now his 3rd plate appearance in 2 innings. Starts off down in the count, 0-1. And now a hard shot towards second base, a diving play by Tim Walsh, gets to his feet, throws to first base, and gets the out. That will finally end the inning, but not before Milford is able to up the lead all the way to 9-1 over Maine South on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, My FM 101.3. Back for the top half of the 3rd inning. Milford now with a 9-1 lead over Maine South. Jack Tempesta back on the mound now with quite a lead to work with. A 6-run inning for post 59 in the bottom half of the second. 6 runs on 4 hits, but they were helped along by 5 Maine South errors. And it will now be the 9, 1, and 2 spots in the batting order due up for post 341. Robert Early, the expected batter in the inning. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And now the pitch missing inside, a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Tempesta, a 1-2-3 second inning, but then had quite a long wait on the bench as his offense went to work. Now this ball sliced down the right field line. This is going to be extra bases. Eventually picked up by Nick Marcolini, but runner will cruise into second base there with an easy leadoff double.
Now at the plate, number 16, center fielder, Joseph Marone.
And so that'll bring a second time through the Maine South lineup. Joseph Marone now at the plate. He singled and came around to score the Maine South run in the first inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and this is floated out into left field. Out goes the shortstop, Shaver. He's able to make the over-the-shoulder catch. Very nice play from Shaver as he raced out good 10 paces onto the outfield grass to make that play.
Coming to the plate, number 9, the catcher, Alex Scavone.
Certainly an early contender for our Easy Way Car Wash diamond play of the game. Runner remains at second base now with 1 down, and Scavone at the plate. That pitch comes too far inside. Looked like it might have hit Scavone, but no ruling for the umpire. And as the ball ricocheted away from Jacob Beater, the runner able to advance onto third base. And now a pop-up. This will travel out into center field. Circling underneath is Rebello. He makes the catch and now will try to fire quickly to home plate, but his throw is offline. And that will allow the runner to come in to score. And Scavone credited with a sacrifice fly. Maine South back on the scoreboard. It's now 9-2. But the bases are clear now with 2 gone. And Dan Sheeran at the plate. One ball, no strike count as that pitch darted too far inside on Sheeran, who worked a walk in his first plate appearance. Now the 2-0 pitch, hit hard towards first base. Reynolds couldn't slow it down. Tried to get a glove on it. That was a rocket hit towards first base. Out into right field for the 2-out single.
Number 14, the shortstop, Ryan Parser.
So the second hit of the inning and the 3rd overall in the game for Maine South. And now a pitch uncorked high to Ryan Prosser. That one slipping out of the hand of Tempesta. Tempesta will look towards first base, now back to the set position. Here is his pitch. Snap that one off too low. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. No Red Sox baseball on MyFM tonight. The Red Sox enjoying an off day after earning the split of the 4-game series in Seattle. 3 home runs propelling the Red Sox to victory yesterday. They will resume the road trip in Minnesota against the Twins coming up tomorrow. And now a called strike. Prosser reached on a fielder's choice and then stole second base, prompting the throw from Jacob Beater, and on that throw, Maine South was able to get a run across the plate in the first inning. Briefly led this game 1-0, but now Milford with the 9-2 lead. However, a walk issued to Prosser, and that will bring Coach DeVito out of the dugout. So not exactly what Coach DeVito wanted to see after his team was able to advance the lead to 9-2, seeing the command a little bit shaky for Tempesta in this inning. Started it off with a ringing double. A sacrifice fly bringing a run in, and now a hit and a walk. Has placed a couple of Maine South runners on. The home plate umpire now out to break up the conference.
Coming to the plate, number 10, left fielder, Michael Waterman.
Michael Waterman now the next hitter. Waterman grounded out to second base to conclude the first inning, and now swings at the first pitch and flies it out to center field. Should be a routine play for Sean Rebello, and it's into the glove for out number 3. And so Maine South settles for just the single run in the inning. They strand a pair. An inning heading into the bottom half of the third inning when we return next here on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. So we move on now to the bottom half of the third inning.
Leading off for Milford in the bottom of the third inning, number 12, shortstop,
There will be batters 2, 3, and 4 leading off for Milford post 59. We can tell you that there is a new pitcher on for Maine South. Unfortunately, we are unable to identify the pitcher at this current time. We're only given numbers for the starting 9 for Maine South just prior to the start of the game. So we will effort to get the name of the relief pitcher as soon as we possibly can. But Lance Benoit lasting just 2 innings in this game. He allowed 9 runs on 7 hits. A righty reliever out there now facing Matt Shaver, and already behind in the count 2-0. A 3-ball, 1-strike count on Shaver, who walked in his last at bat. Prior to that, reached on an infield single, and now sends a high pop-up shallow on the infield. It's the pitcher who tries to make the play, cannot make the catch. It clanks off the heel of his glove, rolls into foul territory, and down to second base goes Shaver. And so immediately a runner in scoring position for post 59 as Shaver is now on for the third time. An error on the pitcher. Runner in scoring position now ahead of Aiden Wild. Wild takes a pitch low for ball 1. Aiden so far tonight was hit by a pitch in the first inning, came around to score. In the second inning, singled to drive in a run, also stole a base and scored. And now slaps the ball hard to shortstop. That will tick off the fingertips of the glove of Ryan Prosser. Travels out into shallow left center field. Shaver will come all the way around from second base to score. And a tough night just keeps getting tougher for Maine South. Back-to-back errors to open up this inning. And that allows Milford to once again climb into double digits. They take a 10-2 lead. Wild aboard at first base now with Sam Parker, the lefty batter, in at the plate. Takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Now breaking ball spins in for a strike. The lefty batter against the right-handed reliever. The next pitch, a fastball that winds up in the dirt. A nice block by Alex Scavone. It pushes Sam Parker ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. And now a hard line drive. That is a foul ball. Traveled down the first base line at lightning speed. Novia stuck the glove out to try to make a play, but it was past him far too quickly. Fortunately for Maine South, in foul territory. So now a 2-2 count. And now the pitch low. Parker at the plate now. Alex Reynolds waiting on deck. And with a 3-2 count, Wild will have a chance to get a head start at first base. He goes as the pitch is once again popped up on the infield. This time it'll be the catcher who will try his luck, and Alex Scavone able to make the catch. So Parker is retired. Wild has to retreat back to the first base bag.
That brings up number 2, first baseman, Alex Reynolds.
Reynolds up to the plate. And we've neglected to point out that Milford is sporting a new uniform top look here tonight. They've seen a return to the gold jerseys that have been such a fan favorite. We'll get to more on that in just a moment. First, Alex Reynolds jumping all over the first pitch. Drives it out to left field for a base hit. Michael Waterman able to get to it quickly, so that holds Reynolds to a single.
Now at the plate, number 4, Tyler Almeida.
Already a 3-hit day for Alex Reynolds. But a new gold uniform top with navy lettering. Another outstanding look for this team. We've seen them so far in the home whites here on the home opener last Friday. We've seen them wearing the road grays in a couple of matchups, and still a couple of other uniforms they can feature. Plenty of wardrobe options for this post-59 squad. A 1-ball, 1-strike count on Tyler Almeida, who has walked twice so far. Now a swing and a miss. Almeida scored a run in the second inning on an error out in left field. And now chops one back towards the pitcher's mound. We'll go the safe route to first base to get a guaranteed out there. They might have had a chance at cutting down Reynolds at second base, but it's been a tough night in the field for Maine South, so not wanting to take any chances, they wanted to make sure to get an out in the exchange. So Almeida out 1-3. Reynolds safely down to second base with Aiden Wild now at third. And an off-balance swing and a miss for Jacob Beater. Beater an RBI single last inning. And now floats one out towards shortstop. Grabbed by Prosser. He will throw to first base, but not in time. That was very slow to get to first base, as Prosser ended up taking an extra look at the runner at second base. Alex Reynolds doing some dancing around the second base bag, drawing Prosser's attention, and by the time he released the throw to first base, it did not get there in time, and Aiden Wild is able to score to make it 11-2 Milford. So rolling an infield single and an RBI for Beater, which gives him 2 RBIs in the game. And now Marcolini dribbles one foul that will roll off towards the backstop. Reynolds is the man at third with Beater at first. Marcolini looking for his first hit in the game. He's 0 for 2. And will now spray one foul down the third base line out of Coach DeVito's reach.
Thank you.
No balls and 2 strikes with 2 down. And the pitch is a tapper towards shortstop. Another chance for Prosser, and another misplayed ball as that one ate up the glove hand of Prosser. Everyone's safe. Reynolds scores from third base to give Milford a 10-run advantage now at 12 to 2.
Now batting number 1, Chris Brunt.
An error column continues to fill up for post 341. Now here's Chris Brunt, first pitch swinging. He pops one up in foul territory, and a rangy catch made by the catcher, Alex Scavone. He had Nathan Novia, the first baseman, sliding in feet first to try to make the catch, but was able to keep his concentration and haul in the final out of the inning. But Milford extends the lead to double digits. It's a 12 to 2 lead for Milford over Maine South here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, My FM 101.3. Milford leads this one 12 to 2 as we now enter into the top half of the 4th inning. And while we had a chance to update ourselves in between innings, we can tell you that it was Tim Walsh on as the relief arm coming in from second base to take over for Lance Benoit, and the corresponding defensive play, William Ernst, taking over defensively at second base. So those were the moves for Maine South in that bottom half of the third. And after coming in defensively, we will see Ernst take the at-bat to lead off the top half of the 4th inning. Taking the spot that was previously occupied by the DH, Brett Pullman. And Ernst sending a slow roller to third base. Wild, no problem with the play and the throw to first base to get the first out.
Coming to the plate, number 28, Nathan Novia.
And now Nathan Novia will get his second look of the evening at Jack Tempesta. Tempesta so far allowing single runs in the first and third. No ball, 1 strike count. And now a ground ball hit towards shortstop. Shaver, a nice play ranging towards the second base bag, and a strong arm to first base, very accurate. Seen the defense particularly strong in these last 2 games for Milford. A combination of Shaver and Brunt up the middle on the infield can cover a lot of ground. 2 quick outs now in this top of the 4th. Now we see Walsh at the plate. He's been the second baseman and now taking over as the relief pitcher out of the bullpen after Lance Benoit was able to only get through 2 innings tonight. Up there with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike, and now a line drive back up the middle. Just barely got past the glove of Jack Tempesta, who threw it up just to the right of his face to try to protect himself. Almost ended up making the catch, but it whizzed by out into center field. A sharp single for Walsh keeps the inning going. And so now Robert Early will take his second at bat of the game. Pitch down in the dirt for ball one. And now the 1-0 pitch is sent foul off to the right and out of play. Looking up at the light poles here at Pheno Field, you can see once again some mist falling. Trying to get through this top half of the fourth inning. The pitch high. Early led off the top of the third inning with a ringing double. Now takes a strike. That evens the count at 2-2 with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Tempesta a look over at first base, a big lead there for Walsh. Now the pitch, and it's low and outside for ball 3. Tempesta once again will set, and his payoff pitch is a ground ball, and that is going to be fielded by Chris Brunt. That looked like it was ticketed for right field after it got past Reynolds at first, but Brunt was able to make up the ground going very far to his left. Was able to field and throw in time to get the out that ends the inning. So early robbed of a hit by another nice rangy play by this middle infield for Milford post 59. No runs on the scoreboard for Maine South in the top half of the fourth. It is still 12-2 Milford here on My FM 101.3. 12 runs on 9 hits with no errors for post 59. 2 runs, 4 hits, and 8 errors for Maine South. As we play on to the bottom half of the fourth inning, where it will be the top of the Milford order to the plate against Tim Walsh, back out for a second inning out of the Maine South bullpen. Sean Rebello to start it off, a 1-for-3 evening so far for Sean. That hit came back in the first inning. And he takes the first pitch down in the dirt from Walsh. Now the 1-0 pitch. That misses for ball 2, excuse me. Ruled a strike. That will even the count. And now a hard shot. That will make its way through the left side of the infield. And another multi-hit game for Sean Rebello. Back on Saturday, had a couple of hits, including a 3-run double and a 3-run inside the park home run. And against North County, getting a couple of hits in that game as well, as meanwhile we'll see a pinch hitter here as Sean Ryan will make his post 59 debut. Swings at the first pitch, sends it on the ground to shortstop. Maine South able to get the lead runner out at second base, but too much speed. And Ryan able to beat out the relay throw to first base, so it'll be a fielder's choice as Ryan bats in place of Matt Shaver. Ryan, another member of the Hopedale Blue Raiders to make this post 59 team in 2018. So he replaces Rebello at first. A quick 2-ball, no strike count on Aiden Wild, who now takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. Aiden has reached base each time he's come to the plate, once via a hit by pitch, once on a single, and most recently reaching on an error at shortstop. Now takes a pitch high. Wind starting to pick up. Strange glow to the sky off behind the first base dugout. It's been a very interesting sight watching this weather continue to develop as the evening has gone along. Aiden Wild will take a pitch high for ball 4.
That brings up number 16, Sam.
Pushes Sean Ryan down to second base, so now 2 on. Nothing but dark sky over center field, but you can see the streaks of light out behind the first base dugout. Is now first pitch swinging. Parker able to send one out into right field, and around from second base comes Ryan, showing good speed around the base as he scores, as Aiden Wild is able to go first to third, and hustling down to second base is Parker.
Now batting number 2, Alex Reynolds.
Shooting that quickly on the ground out into right field, and it ends up as a 2-bagger for Sam Parker. He drives in his second run of the game. Milford refusing to relent at the plate. They now take a 13-2 lead, still 1 out in the inning, and Alex Reynolds taking his 4th at bat. He is 3 for 3. Now takes a pitch inside to even the count at a ball and a strike.
1 ball, 1 strike. 1, 2, play. 1 out. 1 out.
So with Sean Ryan getting into the game today, we have now officially seen all 17 members of Post 59 make an appearance either at the plate or on the pitcher's mound. Pop-up foul now for Alex Reynolds. Scavone, the catcher, gives it a look, but that one out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Milford first baseman, Alex Reynolds. It was a double and a pair of singles on his resume this evening. 3 runs batted in, 2 runs scored. And the 2-2 pitch. Floated foul and out of play. Tyler Almeida, the batter, waiting on deck. Bend in towards the plate for Walsh. Now fires home, misses. High for ball 3. Runners lead off of second and third as the payoff pitch misses for ball 4, then kicks away from the catcher, and Aiden Wild taking advantage. He comes to the plate, slides in safely. Pitcher came in to cover home plate, took the throw from the catcher, but not in time as Wild slides in safely to make it a 14-2 lead for Post 59. So Reynolds working the walk. And the pass ball allowing the runner to come to the plate, and now Tyler Almeida, first pitch swinging, sends a high fly ball out to right field, but not deep. Early able to make the catch, tagging at third base is Parker. He comes home, and so it ends up serving as a sacrifice fly for Almeida to make it 15-4. So Reynolds now is the only base runner left on. He is at first, 2 outs in the inning. And Jacob Beater now to the plate. He swings at the first pitch and sends it hard through the left side of the infield. The 3rd hit of the game for Jacob Beater. Milford has just been relentless on Maine South pitching in recent seasons. The last time Maine South was able to earn a victory against Milford was back on June 17th of 2016. It ended up being a 3-0 shutout. But the games since then have been anything but low scoring, in particular on the Milford side. Since then, Milford has won the last 5 straight meetings, and 4 of those 5 have ended in mercy rule wins. All 5, Milford has crossed into double digits on the scoreboard, as now Nick Marcolini floats one out into left field. That is down for a base hit. Alex Reynolds, an aggressive turn around third base, but will be held there. So Marcolini able to get in on the hit party.
Now at the plate, number 1,
That loads the bases with 2 outs now for Chris Brunt. And of those 4 Mercy Rule wins over the last couple of seasons for Milford against Maine South, 2 of them have come in the playoffs. The last 2 years in a row, Milford has ended Maine South's season in the Zone 4 playoffs. After a foul ball to the backstop, the 0-1 pitch into Brunt catches the inside corner for strike 2. Milford with a 13-run lead. They have the bases loaded with 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and it's popped up behind home plate. Catcher Scavone there, he makes the catch for the out that ends the inning. So Milford leaves them loaded, but they continue to tack on, taking now a 15-2 lead over Maine South. This is coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on My FM 101.3. You can make it now 15 runs on 13 hits for post 59 through 4 innings. Now with a 15-2 lead. And after Jack Tempesta allowed 2 runs through the first 4 innings, we'll see the Milford bullpen activated here. Sam Parker, who had been the designated hitter, will now make his first appearance on the pitcher's mound in a Milford uniform. Take a quick peek back through our high school stats to see Parker's numbers through the high school season. Saw decent action on the pitcher's mound, a 3-1 record through 30 innings for the Hopedale Blue Raiders. Had a 4.90 ERA. Struck out 43 batters.
Now in the mound for Milford, number 16, Sam Parker.
Shows a look from the left side now to these Maine South batters. It'll be the top of the post 341 order coming to the plate. Joseph Marone leads it off. Takes a first pitch strike from Parker. And now a called strike, a fastball brings the count to 0-2. And now an off-balance swing and a pop-up foul behind first base. That will drift over the dugout and into the stands. Looks like Chris Brunt takes over at shortstop with Sean Ryan in at second base. After Ryan came into the game as a pinch hitter. Foul ball to the backstop keeps Marone alive. He is 1 for 2. And now watches the pitch miss low, evening the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Marone followed by Alex Scavone, the catcher, and Dan Sheeran, the third baseman. 3 batters expected in the frame. And now a foul ball that might have gotten a piece of the catcher's gear of Jacob Beater. And it stays a 2-2 count. Once again, Milford gaining separation on the scoreboard. 15-2 lead, and a 2-2 pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike 3. It's the 3rd strikeout for Milford pitching tonight. 2 Ks for Tempesta through his 4 innings. He allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, walked 2, and had the 2 strikeouts. Sam Parker now striking out the first batter he faces. Now Scavone at the plate, swings at the first pitch and sends it out to left field. Back goes Almeida, and he cannot make the catch. Didn't track that ball quite well enough. Tried to make the play over the shoulder, but it goes beyond his glove, and Scavone will end up at second base with the gift double.
Now batting number 15, Daniel Sheeran.
So a 1-out runner in scoring position ahead of Dan Sheeran. Sheeran looks at a first pitch strike. A lot of the fans have stayed throughout this game, but a quiet crowd. Especially compared to last Friday for the home opener. It was a very festive atmosphere here at Pheno Field. The weather, I'm sure, playing a part in keeping the fans a little bit more toned down. And also, the Milford fans content with the 13-run lead. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Sheeran, who has walked and singled tonight. And now takes one up and in. Ends up rolling to the backstop. Somehow, Sheeran was able to get out of the way of that pitch. Scavone able to advance to third. Scary moment for Scavone, as that was high and tight. Now the 3-1. Parker goes outside but misses for ball 4. So after the strikeout, we see a double, a wild pitch, and now a walk to place runners at the corners. Ryan Prosser now the batter. He takes a pitch high for ball 1. Parker a little bit amped up, making his first pitching appearance here for Milford. And now a called strike. A fastball evening the count. A little dancing off the first base bag for Sheeran, not being held on as Alex Reynolds plays out in front of the runner. And Parker able to bury a pitch at the bottom of the strike zone to bring it to a 1-2 count. Prosser disagreed, took a little hop step out of the batter's box, but now stands back in. Runner takes off. As the pitch misses up and away, Parker could see that runner take off and tried to rush the throw to the plate. Ended up uncorking it high. It's a steal for Sheeran. Now 2 runners in scoring position. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. So Parker battles back to get the man at the plate. 2 Ks in the inning. And now it'll take something from Michael Waterman if we are to continue. Waterman has grounded out to second base and flown out to center so far tonight. And now the pitch. This is high for ball 1. And now a called strike. 1-1 the count, 2 outs. Scavone the lead runner at third, Sheeran at second. And the pitch swung on and missed. Good velocity on these pitches for Parker, and he's 1 strike away from ending the inning. Quickly gets the sign from Beater, comes set. And the 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. So in the end, Sam Parker strikes out the side with the double and walk mixed in. A scoreless inning of relief. And for the 3rd straight game and 3 out of 4 to open up the season, Milford with a mercy rule win. It takes just 5 innings for Milford to take down Maine South. They win it by a final score of 15-2. Once again, all kinds of offense to recap for you tonight on the Milford side. And we will do it once again as part of our Mass Renewables of Bellingham post-game report. That is next here on our coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3.